Oh yeah, I'm glad you asked that. There's a lot more homelessness. There's a lot more rape. There's a lot more petty theft. But there's a lot more good Samaritans trying to make up the delta between what you should be making with the job and what you're not making, what you're camping out or trying to put yourself together work. But clothing, shelter, little travel money. They put out they have a little different approach at Forest Grove. Actually, there's a Facebook, and there's some newspaper interviews in the Veterans paper and the Daily Rag. Up there, it's the Forest Grove Times or whatever it is. They switched it over to Washington County newspaper. They put an ad, during the winter months especially, there's extra socks and warm clothing coming handy. They show up with it. I call it, I have theories behind it, being an applied mathematical physicist and studied some sociology. It's somewhat the 80-20 rule or the 1/4, 3/4 rule. If you want to break it down a little further, there's the 6-2-2 rule. Like, what I mean by that is 20% of you are at very severe risks of being beaten up, kidnapped, not getting enough health care. That means that there's 80% of you are survivors in some other way. Now, of those 80% survivors, 20% of them are probably very wealthy, super wealthy, like multi-billionaires. There's no billionaires walking around town here, but there's some pretty wealthy people in and out. On the other hand, so it's the 6-2-2 rule is, you can call it GOD, golden, organized, or damned, or the 60% super rich, 20% super rich, 60% what I call worker bees. They work either in a regular job or they work in some other way, horse trade, deliver the goods, move or underground economy. 60% manage to get by pretty well, but 20% are really down and out destitute. Those are the kind that have, $20 in the bank account that won't hesitate to do petty theft or crime, some of them are petty. Well, it's kind of hard to say, but decades ago, it's a little hard to say because, I never heard of this town, growing up in more well-to-do San Francisco Bay. My family moved out of California in stages, 70s, 80s, and 90s. There's a vintage of it left down there on 2 miles. If you look at the old-time pictures of this town, and there's a historical museum in town that I haven't been into, it should be interesting to visit. It's in American heritage. If you look at it in the 30s, it kind of looks like an Al Capone kind of a town.
Kind of lawless.
Yeah. This town has always had that aspect. So, who's to say what percentage of it was back then? But if I had to take a wild-ass guess, I would say the amount of lawlessness has gone up 2 to 3-fold times. 2 to 3-fold. But it's always had a significant amount. If it was 7 to 10%, it's 14 to 20% now. Well, for guys like me, the bottom fell apart. It started to fall apart in the 1990s because I don't want to take it all the way back to the Eisenhower era. Oh, there's Utah. That's kind of a red herring for me. But you see, after World War, the mood of the country and the modus operandi, it kind of breaks down in stages. The post-World War II era, from 1945 till about 1963, till the mood of the country was totally different. But one thing that fails to, that never ceases to amaze me, is that if you look at what was going on up until Sputnik, we were sort of unshaken in our path aside from the occasional war and North Korea and Vietnam. Up until the Russians launched that satellite, there's a 12-year period between 1945 and 1957, October of 57, when the Russians launched their Sputnik satellite. Khrushchev comes to the UN shortly later in IKEA, pulls out his clodhopper shoes and pounds on the desk. We would bury you. He said, we had that aura of supreme confidence that we could do no wrong and that we were king of kings and lord of lords and top of the heap. Frank's Lodge, we said about their own. There was a 12-year period of unshaken confidence. We were it, man. We had the bomb, we had the factories, we had the jobs, you know. The bubbles has burst, exactly. It burst with Sputnik, and then the higher flag went on. We could hire every engineer under the sun who could, move a slide rule and a calculator around. It burst again in the 60s in a different way with the JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King assassinations, and LSD and drugs, and free love, whatever that means. It burst again in the 70s with OPEC and the price of oil going from 25 cents a gallon to $1.25 overnight. The 1 decade, paradoxically enough, that we after that we seemed to sail through, in spite of all, without too much trouble in the 1980s. To me, that was the golden age. I managed to hang on, more than hang on. I had good jobs from about 75 to 92. But the 1980s were the stellar decade, as driven by what post-World II inventions. You wouldn't have, if you thought about it, you wouldn't have too much trouble identifying what they are. Yeah, the computer with LSI, the computer revolution with laptop, going from Maxi to Mini to desktop.
This is like the Gutenberg of today.
Yeah, this is the Gutenberg. The computer revolution, straight up, Moore's Law.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other revolution was the DNA revolution, modern biochemistry. Those two inventions changed everything. Well, the bottom fell in for me in the 90s. Several people wrote about it because what fell in for me was the hiring pattern change and the political atmosphere changed. Instead of the Republicans are not so anywhere near as, although the Democrats have their faults too, they had the idea that corporate downsizing and laying people off in their 40s, they didn't care whether you were highly skilled or not, or whether you were 40, 50, or 60, going on 65. If they could squeeze you out of a job and still make that profit work, that was getting real earnest in the 1990s, and it's still here too. I switched from applied theoretical physics, chemistry, and math into computers. But my computer knowledge was and then I started out in the programming languages, Fortran, COBOL, PL1, Pascal, and then I switched to database management systems. But now that's not what the web is, That's not what the web is. So my computer skills, I know somewhere, but no, I'm not really good at it. I hate to admit that, but yeah. Around the time that I got that the Army Navy got the idea that I could go into the electronic battlefield instead, they have one. If they turn it on, they have one on land, sea, and air, but the biggest one is around San Francisco Bay, and then Nassau has one too.
Well, you must have seen the birth of that.
Oh yeah. I was working in Livermore, in Berkeley, in the 70s. And then my health went bad, so I bailed out of the applied theoretical physics, somewhere between a master's and a PhD. I went to New York and started over in the computer field, New York, New Jersey. Well, Moore's Law is still.
Yeah.
See, Moore's Law is one of the great laws of applied engineering and physics now. It just keeps going.
It's that bell curve keeps going steeply upward.
Yeah, but it's logarithmic. Yeah, it's logarithmic. It says that every 10 years, the computing power goes up by a factor of 10. What that meant is in 1950, we had ENIAC 1 and 2. We had about 10 to the 4th computations per second. It's just straight draw. It's on log computing power versus time. Every decade, it gets 10 times better. So if you took the 10 to the 4th in 1950, then it'd be 10 to the 5th and 60, 10 to the 7th and 70, and it'd be up to 10 to the 10th in 10 to the 10th in 2000, then it'd be 10 to the 11th in 2010, and then 10 to the 12th. Yeah, it's but get this, even at UC Berkeley in the 70s, the government was experimenting with all this in a different way with the big, vast scientific computers had nanosecond speed, even in the 70s, you know. So, but they couldn't get that out of the desktop like they can now.
Or a handheld device.
A handheld device, yeah. They couldn't shrink it that well, but they could put a room full of the stuff in serious parallel computing and mimic nanosecond. Now, and one more comment. They could use what they call mode-locked and Q-switch lasers to get the picosecond. Charles Townsend, Berkeley, and Livermore have published all kinds of papers with all over NATO. 10 to the 12th. What's that? With Q-switch lasers. Yeah, 10 to the 12th. That's about where we are now. Well, the answer to that is, if you read, there's a book out, Kip Thornton Mismer has been updated. Kip Thornton Mismer was the general relativity specialist in the 1970s, without doing on Harvard. Then there's a sequel to that book, DeGracio et al. It's lying in the Godfather's bookstore. It's recent. I have a copy of it. The singularities you're talking about occur at black stars, and they're up around 10 to the 19th. That's something they call TOZO. It's called. You look it up when you're not talking to me. Go on to go look. TOEJOE. Over 6 or 7 orders of magnitude. 7 or 8 orders of magnitude. It doesn't say you can't explore it in some other way, though. Well, every point on Moore's law is every factor of 10 is 10 years. So this is 2000 and we'll leap forward to 2020 and 12, and we need 7 more, so 2090. 100 years after 1990. That doesn't mean that everyone has to wait till then, by the way, because the big tigers and the sharks, the animals that are really strong can access that now. The jaguars, the big cats, the sharks, some dolphins, but more like orcas. Yeah, the big ones. They can do it now if you train them. Even dogs know how to go all the way through now. The Germans are big on getting that when they attack dogs. They wanted to do it themselves, but they got political and ideological hang-ups. It's not just the Nazis. It's another thing going on. They'd like to do it somewhere. Those notices have just been posted. The town council passed these laws last fall, and then they posted them this winter. It's an attempt of shop owners to assert their authority. It's a reflection of the fact that they don't know what to do with how to bridge the gap between high and low income right now. It's a power game. Our mayor is stepping down. Duesenberg let the old system go. For 20 or 25 years, the older mayor, that was a different time. Mayor Diva, she's a one-term mayor. She's resigning. She holds on to the title, but she wants out. And there's a special election this fall for her.
County's changing.
It's hard to appeal to different audiences. Yeah, you get the power groups fighting it out here. It's hard to believe what happened with Facebook, Apple, and Google. What used to be General Motors, it used to be the car industry. Well, they're still important. I haven't looked at the Fortune 500 recently, but you find Apple, Google, and Facebook out doing the traditional manufacturers, out doing just about everything else. Yeah, I'm doing both the computer manufacturing and the car manufacturing, the traditional bellwethers of American public service. Underemployment is far more common than no work at all. Underemployment is far harder to gauge than the labor department. You know, a part-time job here and there, and you quit looking for full-time work after being rejected for 5 or 7 years. They go through everything that they know how to go through. Relatives, friends, charity. Some people turn to crime. Some people get disability. You know, some people just earn their way out of it. Yeah. Because you could do an incredible amount of what you can actually do is incredible amount of self-living. I mean, you can go to the library, get a library card. You know, you get 2 hours there. Yeah, and the Wi-Fi sites, they have in the coffee houses. Buy a cup of coffee. You don't irritate the other clientele. They accuse them of hanging out there too long. They're cracking down on that. They don't want you to stay so long now. You used to be hanging out all day there, but can't do that. Well, they get. I have to check with the Census Bureau on some of it. It's hard to gauge it, but one thing that happened in Portland, where they have certain shelters, there's a big overflow to the point where it's not like pick a number. They used to be guaranteed a spot for coming standing in line an hour or two. Now it's pick a number, and well, I can let you wait tonight, but the next 4 nights you're on your own. You get about a 1 in 5 chance of getting in. So they get tired of that. They're running around the streets. So they come here. Plus the city pollution factor is the traditional pollutants from cars. Hydrocarbons and noxious fumes and hydrocarbons. They've gotten far worse. Portland's getting not as bad as LA, but it's getting there. It's
overpopulated.
It's overpopulated. There's too many cars and the freeways are jammed, for 2 or 3 hours, a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the evening. Man, I remember those commutes in LA. They're trying to open about 40 beds this summer downtown here or near Uniontown.
Are you interested in that?
Oh yeah, I've got to put my name on the list for that.
It's something you'd want to take advantage of.
I personally think that they should do some kind of. There's lots of unoccupied buildings. They should either do eminent domain or insist that that certain businesses open themselves to the public just for being overnight, just for being here. It's optional now. There's one church right now. The Methodist Church usually handles it. They don't do a very good job of it, but they handle December, January, and February. There's a motley crew that shows up, and it's not very well organized. I don't know how many do they take in a winter night? Probably 20 something, I would imagine, maybe 30. The church. So there's one church. There's one. Bible study on Bond Street. They probably have room for another 10. So on any given night in the winter, they can probably take in somewhere between 40 and 50. I don't know how many. There's probably 2 to 3 times that wandering around town here. The homeless population exceeds the quote designated shelters at least 2 to 3 times. So if they have room for 40, there's 80 to 120 out here, depending upon what time of year it is. I think it should be mandatory that any person who can walk and talk and do something civil for society ought to be guaranteed, and in return, they could do more than the usual what campgrounds or yoga ashrams do. You say, well, I will take you in, and why don't you contribute 2 hours a day to our gardening effort or our kitchen safety effort, you know, and that's all. That's okay.
Have
There
you
might be some other work besides that. Say, if you're willing to donate 2 hours of your time to quote communal services, you know, 2.5, not much more than that, you should be guaranteed a place where you can take a shower, park yourself overnight, you know? Well, my sister's city until recently has been Forest Grove. And I could camp out there, but what screwed that scene up there was a very concerted and deliberate effort of bioterrorism near Lake Hog up there. They were kidnapping people. There was toxic dumping in the lake. I mean, human waste, hospital waste. You know, it just got to the point where it was overpowering. You know,
So it's
why that particular lake is because it was easy to kidnap people. There is a sexual trafficking ring that operates up there. Yeah, it's very blatant. And if you're up there any length of time, you can see how they operate. There's one here too, by the way. The rule of thumb is at 20%. It's staggering. Staggering. Your chances of adult people being raped are about 20%. Yeah, that's pretty high number.
So you could just extrapolate that out how many women are on the street that they've been raped.
Yeah, but you see, it's easy if you're not from the area. You come here, you don't know where you can safely stay. Yeah, there's a case. It just happened yesterday. A case that's very typical. I watched part of it happen. Now, so there's a woman, a French woman from East Saint Laurent, pushing 40. She comes here. The way I heard the story unfold, she rented a kind of a flim-flam, house or I don't say apartment, a hotel in the seaside. Well, the security's poor down there, and she leaves her purse in the hotel and takes a walk on the beach. Well, somebody mugs her on the beach, so she now has a head injury. And steals her purse, which has her ID in it. So then I don't know how she wandered up here, but she's wandering down the street over here yesterday afternoon around 3:30, you know, trying to find her purse or identity. Well, that ain't gonna last, because you know what that means? If she's out of the country, out of the state, has no cash, has no ID on her, doesn't have proof of insurance, she's history. It's just what it was when they had Cecilia and Costa Nostra, whoever it was, picked her up wandering on the beach and offered a lift to some remote place. And I can tell you what's going to happen to her. They're going to clean her up and give her some painkillers and then start gang raping her another day or two. I've watched this happen. Yeah, I've watched it happen. It got really out of hand. This part of it. This kind of sexual trafficking started heavy time the second time the Dow crashed in 2008 to 9. Oh, the second time it crashed. It wasn't common around 2001 when they were blaming the Arabs and whatever else it was. The second time, no. Yeah, I've got to get mobile to the point where I actually have a computer, but I got interrupted on the way to before I could get a website on it. I downsized to the point where I could easily travel once again, and then get back on a significant web activity. I had MSN before Skype and Outlook took it over, and that took me out. Get to the point where I look mobile one, look a little more like GQ than a slick camper, get some units from New Age Law, a certificate. My last attorney got burnt out of town, kidnapped and beaten up. Don Howard, I've had to have a lot of my friends. Here's one of these homeless dudes. He's not partly homeless. Tennessee, who's a colorful character. He can tell you what it is to be homeless in Astoria or beaten up. Don't say right up, man. They took a life off of him. How you doing? How you doing? Well, he's saying the wrong, this and that.
How safe are you on the street?
I have been robbed a few times. Not very often, but I've been petty theft. More like I have been robbed and assaulted, but yeah, I haven't been physically hurt that badly, but I have been robbed 2 times. Not 2. Whole carts only twice, actually. Whole carts twice here. Once in broad daylight when I fell asleep at the bookstore, and once at night when I was heisting on the way back from Safeway. So twice I had 2 whole carts stolen. More often, a few times I've had a suitcase or so lifted. But I have not been seriously assaulted. Except maybe once, and then I had to reach for a weapon to back the door up. But I don't get mugged very often. It hasn't occurred recently. Yeah.
People respect that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
You're like a fount of wisdom.
Oh yeah, I know things that you can't know without being first-hand out there. I passed someone on the bar of the police. Some I've got a trove of things that I need to publish. A little bit, not too much in the record. You have to know where. Well, it's the who, what. I need to write a book on this topic, but yeah. Take care, buddy.
How are you?
Oh yeah, take care of yourself, huh?
Well, you.
I'll give you a few helpful hints, but it's too complicated an issue to just
Well, where do you start? What's like the first doorway to go in?
You have to have an all-terrain body type to some extent, right? And you have to train yourself. You can start in the legitimate campground, where you're safe, like. And there's and the ones around here are in Warrington or Hammond. You go over there as a tent camper, you can do it. So you can go with a bicycle, a bicycle, a sleeping bag, your kind of thing that the routine campers get at one of the outdoor stores. Toughen yourself up a little bit so that the heat and the cold doesn't bother you, and you're used to lighting a fire. Start with a legitimate campground. Looking for it costs you $17 a night, and by the time you get used to maybe the 4 seasons aside from the extreme winter, maybe extreme summer's already booked. You just get used to the idea that you're going to be tough enough to sleep outside. And then I would say you need to know the rudiments of self-defense. Not the heavy stuff. You don't have to. Not the heavy black. You need to know some basic self-defense.
Would you say
basic camping skills, basic self-defense, and then you go to the city churches and the city help centers, and they got a class of relief at Goodwill, and find out where you can get discounted services or even some free services. And by the time you can do that, if you don't have a chronic illness that truly incapacitates you, you're ready to go.
John, would you say that part of that self-defense is communication?
No.
You mean physically?
I back off of that. You need to try and talk a person down if they're angry.
Right.
But some people won't be talked down.
So what do you do in that situation?
Then you have to fight or flight. You either have to duke it or just get out of their way. Or call for help if you have a mobile device or something. Yeah. You either call for help, you either fight it out with him, or you just get the hell out and hope he doesn't follow you. Yeah. I was asked to move a half a dozen times when these store owners have got this new ordinance. It's posted down. You can look at it. It's posted on that foreclosed restaurant. Maybe. It's a little white sign with black print. There's 7 or 8 city ordinances they want to quote. But you got to help people out too, you know. You got to give to get somewhere, even if you don't have a lot of money, you know.
Well,
you got a horse trade with people.
You're probably one of the good Samaritans now, too.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Well, I'll get, depending on whether I know someone or don't know someone. It's kind of a sliding scale between $1 to $40 amount. Kind of a sliding scale. You know, that guy who passed here, I know who he is, and he just got back raped. That one that disappeared yesterday. He hangs out by the Godfather, and he's got some disability. He's got an eye disability, and they're explosives that went off on him. But he's tough enough to just keep going. I told you, I think anyone who needs a room, a shower, a place to stay for the night should be guaranteed one. In terms of no more than have to get back a couple hours of routine community services in there and they were the shelter. It'd be so easy for the city to do that. It's not for lack of money, I'll tell you that. It's conservative attitudes, power games. I think so too, yeah. You can't just do what they started to do in the heat of all that, you know, the Occupy Wall Street movement, or Occupy this and that part. But the trouble with that is that the police could easily roust you and generally will in most but not all circumstances. I mean, they may set aside a place for you downtown, but they don't like you in the middle of the downtown, you know. It's not the place for it, you know. If it was just, you know, on the other side of the railroad tracks or even a housing or something, more than a tent camper, you know. That's right. Yeah, the nice thing about this town, you can walk from one end of the town to the other. Yeah, well, it's the more conservative landlords. Yeah, it's a landlord-tenant issue. I honestly think of all the states I've lived in, this state has the worst landlord-tenant relationship of any state I've been in, long term. That's really behind the curve. Yeah. It really is. They seem to figure that they can double the rent every 15 years and pick and choose their tenants and get pretty arbitrary about eviction notices. Well, Oregon has about 4 million residents. About 4 million. I don't know how many square miles it is. I can find out. It's about 4 million. California has about 38 million. I don't know what New York has. You know, they are densely populated. The big three, whether it's California, Texas, they all play a very different game. Well, they have high tech here, you know. Silicon Forest, you know, in the greater Portland area. They must have somewhere around 7 G. I got a lot of them, but one is, I mean, there's a certain amount of base level that should be guaranteed. You know, housing, health, security. Actually, believe it or not, you wouldn't notice it right away. But this town has a lot of high-tech security built in. There's an Army base in Morgan. Has the Army. You got the Army. You got the Coast Guard. You got Homeland. You got the Sheriff. You got the Fire. And there's. No, I should have said Homeland if I didn't. But there's a half a dozen organizations either in this town or the neighboring Warrington, you know, dedicated to security. And if you know how to work with them, they'll look out after you. You know, 6 high-tech security organizations, you know, in a relatively short space. You got a lot of security in this town. There's no curfew in this town, by the way. That may be for minors, but for adults. Now, it's very, very different from town to town, even within the county. Seaside has the worst. They got curfews. You can't panhandle in Seaside. You can't sell art on the street. You can't camp overnight. There's a curfew there. They threatened to bust me for loitering, but I stayed at Ron McDonald's once an hour and a half. Yeah, this is Livermore. And it's got a long history. It's 200 years, technically, 1811. Lewis and Clark, 1804, 5, yeah. Alright, well, yeah, alright, so baseline guarantees. The latest irk is the petty behavior by shop holders in real estate. If you go downtown, you can see which shops have been decimated. If it isn't Walmart or Dollar Days across the bridge, it's gangland buyouts and surf and turf wars. Yeah, there's a dozen or so businesses that have closed in the past year or two. But yeah, they don't know what to do about these surf and turf wars that are going on here. Yeah. It's not quite. There are gun control laws in the city that are even helpful. That are very helpful. It's Cosa Nostra. Cosa Nostra is one of the biggest ones. There's not a lot of Mexican cartels here. There isn't. The Washington County, the surf and turf is the Mexican cartels. The Mexican and the Colombia ones. They're all there. Every single one of them.
Traditionally, yeah, there was, like through the I-5 corridor, that was one of the things.
Yeah, well, they're big all over Washington County. There's not too much of the Mexican cartels here. Cosa Nostra is the biggest one here, actually. Yes, they do.
Runners.
Oh, yeah.
They do?
Oh, yeah, it's all the time. Yeah, they got their runners. Oh, the Irish Republican Army is one. That's the second. Cosa Nostra, the Irish Republican Army, and the neo-Nazis, the Big Four. Now the Big Four. Cosa Nostra, Italian side, Irish Republican Army, Sinn Féin and Provisional on the Irish side, neo-Nazis on the German side, and yeah, those three: German, Irish, and Italian. Yeah, those three all have representative surf and turf wars going on. Active down here.
Well, how's
Police don't know what to do about it either.
How's that impacted?
Except, I mean, they know what to do about it if there's a fight on the street, but they don't know what to do about it if the runners up and downtown and
the problem.
Yeah. Well, I see my friends disappear very quickly, and a lot of them. Yeah.
Can you say more about that?
They kill them. They kill them. And they kidnap them. Or they beat them to the point where they're non-functional. They kill them, they rape them, or they just beat them up with them. They can't do much.
You've seen people disappear.
A lot of them.
And nobody does anything.
Well, the point is, once they're underground and out of town, they're either beaten up in town to the point where they just throw in the towel, or they disappear out of town, and once they're in the underground, Yep. Gotta have friends. gotta have people willing to help you out. It's kind of like the Book of Job more than I like to. I like to dwell on. It's kind of like the Book of Job. It's just you suffer through it all, and you learn from your experience. Experience ends up being when you're younger, the best teacher is the big university or a job. When you get a little older, experience. You just see it all firsthand in the dirt or watch others do it. Oh yeah. I've got to write it up. I talk about writing it up, but it hasn't happened. I mean, I kept journals, and some of them disappeared, and some of them I still have. But most of them disappeared. They're stolen or That's what I'm thinking about it. Yeah. No, I see that dawning. I see that happening in next year too.
Or a video journal or something.
Yeah, I see that happening. Oh yeah, no, I need to do that. I don't know if they're going to give you an ISBN, but it's not hard to,
Yeah.
Michigan, I lived in Michigan.
Yeah.
I worked there for a year, I liked it there, I had a good job there. And the job canceled. I didn't do very much camping there, I did a little bit. And then I got a call from a former good buddy of mine at New York University who hooked me up there. And then that From there, I went to Canada. Canada went back to Illinois. From Illinois, I went back to Africa. Just get the ball rolling. I was able to get the golden employment era was 1975 to 1992. I had enough education and experience so on, just go from job to job, state to state, country to country, and they didn't interrupt it very well. Like the bottom fell in for me in the 90s. I really did go to they call it the electronic battlefield. The U.S. Navy flipped it on. That's a separate experience to ride out. What it's like to go through the quote electronic battlefield, San Francisco. No, I haven't. It's been 2 decades of struggle so much away. So now they won't hire you directly right now. You gotta take your experience and meld it into some combination of legal and medical and marketing. Yeah.
Well, you definitely have the experience that you can do that.
Oh yeah, you got the experience.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what you had to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll talk some other time.